Hello everyone, my name is Masha and today I'm here with my sister,
Maya.
and we're going to be answering some of your questions. So before we start, I do want to quickly mention that usually when I do my Q&As, I insert like a screenshot of the question on screen, but you guys asked a lot of questions and a lot of you asked the same questions, so doing that would be pretty much impossible, so I'm not going to do that, and I'm just going to be reading off the questions of a piece of paper that I have. So the first question we got was, what is our age difference? So I am 21.
13.
So the age difference is 8 years. I was 8 years old when you were born. Another question is, do you have other siblings?
Yes, we do. We have an older sister. She's 25.
She's 26.
Yes.
She's 26, yeah. What is your favorite memory of the two of you?
I don't think I have.
Okay, maybe not a favorite memory, just tell them about a good memory that you have.
I remember that I was biting you.
What? And that's a good, happy memory of you biting me? How is that? That's not a good memory. Do you have zero good memories of us? Like,
No.
honestly?
I remember we were walking with you and I fell over and my teeth ripped.
That was not a good memory at all. That freaked me the hell out. You were, how old were you? Like 9 or something?
7 or
Oh yeah, hey, you were younger
8.
than that, yeah.
8 or 7.
You were like a baby, like a child, right? So like a 7, 8-year-old child. I think that was the first time our parents let me go outside with you, just the two of us, because they wouldn't let us go outside, just the two of us, because they didn't trust me enough to take care of the kid. So literally the first time we go out together, we walk like 100 meters from our house. She trips over, falls face flat onto the ground, stands up, and she's bleeding from the mouth. I was like, I'm dead. My parents are actually gonna murder me because I killed my sister. How is that a pleasant memory for you? That was not I was like, I'm actually dead and I also killed my sister. This is amazing. Great. Life is amazing right now. Turns out she had like a wobbly tooth. So when she tripped and fell, she hit her tooth and it just fell out. So she wasn't like actually dying, she was just bleeding from the tooth that fell out. We never found the tooth though.
Yeah.
We actually went back and tried to search for it and we never found it, so...
It's gone.
Yeah, we wanted to give it to the tooth fairy, but didn't happen.
She still gave me money.
That's not how the tooth fairy works, kids, but whatever. Yeah, I don't know what my favorite memory of you is. I think our parents were always very strict with like food. They always want us to eat like healthy food. Sorry mum if you're watching this, she probably is. Anyway, our parents wanted us to eat healthy foods all the time, so whenever we were left just the two of us, we would always buy like junk food and stuff and sushi and all of that random like pizza and all that stuff, and we would just like
You would never let us alone after this.
But yeah, I love that because we could just hang out and like binge eat some crap. What is your dream job?
I think my dream job is to be an animator and to draw cartoons and stuff like that.
Yes, she's actually a really good artist. I think you've been drawing ever since you were like a little kid.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, and it's really cool to look back on like your previous art, to look at what you're doing now and see how much you've improved, because you've improved a lot. And I really like your style. Do you mind if I insert some pictures?
I don't know, because I don't have like good drawings recently.
Okay, maybe not.
So, yeah.
As for my dream job, when I was a kid, I actually wanted to become an archaeologist. I have no idea why, but the idea of like finding dinosaur bones seemed extremely exciting to me, and I thought that that was all archaeologists did, is like went on sites and dug up dinosaur bones. That's not all they do. There was one time when we were in school, I was like, what, 6 years old at that point, and these two archaeologists actually came to school to just like give a talk about what they do and stuff like that. And I remember it was the summer, well, close to the summer, and it was really, really hot, and they were both wearing sandals. And I remember, because I was sitting in the front row as like a 6 or 7 year old, right? And I remember them sitting, and I was looking down at their toes in their sandals, and their toes are really, really dirty and like muddy and disgusting. And I was like, if I become an archaeologist, my toes are gonna be gross. And at that point I decided I don't want to be an archaeologist.
Only because of the toe.
Literally only because of that, because I was like, if I'm gonna be in dirt all the time, my toes are gonna be dirty, and I don't want that. And that was the only reason why I stopped being an archaeologist, stopped wanting to be an archaeologist. But other than that, I think when I was growing up, I wanted to be like an English teacher, which I kind of was for a little while, I taught English to kids for what, like 4 years as like a tutor. So I did that. I don't know what my dream job is right now. Ask me again later, because I'm finishing uni this year. Yeah, thanks. And you know, finishing uni, not knowing what the hell you want to do with your life, that's a great combination. What do you think of your sister's YouTube channel?
I think it's pretty cool that she has it, and I remember she was making videos like 5 years ago, and you were making videos in Russian, and you had like
that was
a small channel.
Yeah, that was 4 years ago. Yeah. It's the same channel.
Yeah, but yeah, you had like a few videos, and then you stopped for like a year or two, and when you started again, I was like, oh, she's starting again, and I thought you will like stop doing it again.
I thought I was gonna stop doing it, honestly. Still going. Still going. I honestly, when I started it again, I started it, what, in 2015? I ran this channel for the first time. I did it in Russian. I had a schedule back then where I posted videos every week. And then one time I missed an upload and I was like, well,
never mind.
Messed up the schedule, not posting ever again. And so I dropped it for 3 years. I didn't do anything for 3 years. And then last year I decided to make another video, completely randomly. I'm a very much a perfectionist. I very much am a perfectionist, and I want every single thing that I put out, every tutorial and every just anything I put out, I want it to be perfect and exactly how I want it to be. Which is why I found it very difficult to actually do this, because in the beginning of the English stuff, before I posted my first English video, I kept putting it off. I wanted to do it for like months and months and months, and I kept putting it off because I couldn't get it to be what I want it to be. And then at one point I was like, forget it, I'm just gonna post something. And so I sat down, I filmed it, I edited it, and I posted it in the same day. Because I was like, if I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do this, and I just posted it. I was pretty happy with it. Not that I was like unhappy with it, but there was no lighting, I didn't have a proper tripod, the camera wasn't amazing, and I didn't like that. But, I mean, it's still a good video. Yeah. But now looking back on it, there are so many issues with it that I notice. And it's my most popular video.
Oh.
And that annoys me, but like still, you know, still. It's a good thing because it got me started, and a lot of people found my channel through that video. And a lot of people really enjoy that video. Even though I don't, and I see a lot of issues with it, but whatever. Anyway, what country are you from? What country are you from? How do you answer that question?
I don't know. I always say that I was born in England, but I live in Russia, so.
Yeah, I find that very difficult to answer that question, because when people ask me what country are you from, like, what am I supposed to answer? For you it is a little bit easier because you were born in the UK and then you moved to Russia and you still live there. Like, you moved when you were a baby. You were 1 year old when you moved. So you moved when you were a baby. And so for most of your life you lived in Russia, and you still do. For me it's a little bit more difficult because I was born in Russia, we then moved to France, lived there for like a year, and then when I was 3 we moved to the UK. I grew up in the UK. When I was 9 or 10 I think, we moved back to Russia. I lived in Russia for 10 years, and when I was 19 I moved back to the UK. So when people ask me where are you from, I find it very difficult to answer. And not only that, there is other blood mixes in us. So we're not only like Russian by blood, we're also Georgian and Armenian. And I did a DNA test. There's so much. You want to do a DNA test? Let's do a DNA test.
I'll have the same as you. Like,
no, you won't. That's not how it works. I mean, you'll have mostly the same as me, but you have a different combination. So it will be different. I want to do it. It seems fun. Anyway, not the point. Point being, but there's a lot of mixes in us. So I don't know. I find it really difficult to answer that. I feel like I personally identify both with my English sort of upbringing and also with my Russian upbringing. I can't really identify with one. I don't know, even with languages as well. Yeah, we both speak Russian as well. So yeah, I was born in Russia, but I grew up in England. She was born in England, but grew up in Russia. So make of that what you will. The next question is quite similar. What was it like moving from Russia to London? And that's for me because I moved from Moscow to London when I was 19, but also I think we can talk about the other way as well. So when I was moving to London, I was 19 years old, I was all alone. I was leaving my long-term boyfriend behind in Moscow, who is now my husband. We have just finished being long distance, thank God. We were long distance for 2 years, and that was very difficult. So yeah, I was leaving my entire family, my long-term boyfriend, everything to come here and to study. That was my entire purpose. I moved to go to university and to study, and because I want to live here in the long run, I wanted to study here, and so you know, I can easier sort of integrate into society here. So that was very difficult, but also very exciting because there's so many cool new opportunities that came from that. But do you remember moving from London to Moscow?
No, I was like 2 years old.
No, you weren't even 2, you were like 1.5, I think.
Yeah, so.
Yeah, you were 1.5. I remember moving. I was 9 or 10. I think I was nearly 10. Yeah. And that was absolutely terrifying because I was literally leaving everything I had never known and all of my friends and everything. But also it was very exciting because all of my grandmothers and I have like other relatives that live in Russia. And it was like a whole new adventure and cool experience. So that was kind of exciting. But what do you think about like living in 2 different countries? Well, not technically because you live in Russia, but you do come to England a lot. Like, what do you think about it?
I think it's pretty cool that I have this opportunity to do this. But I think I want to move to England when I grow. I want to study in a university in here.
You think so?
Yeah.
Why is that? Why? I mean, for me, it's easier to answer because I grew up in the UK. So when we moved to Russia, I love Russia. I really do. I really love the country and all my friends there. I really love it, and I had a great time when I was living there. But I always knew that I wanted to move back to England, just because I grew up here. You know, it's my home. But what about you? You grew up in Russia. Why do you want to move to England?
I don't know. I think I feel like at home in here.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I really want to live in here, and my children to be here, and like everything.
Oh, that's really sweet of you. That's really nice to know. So, you know, when you turn 18, you're gonna go to university. I'm gonna be waiting. Alright, so, would you help your sister start a YouTube channel? Do you want a YouTube channel?
I think I might do, yeah.
What would it be about?
Animation, I think, and drawing.
That would be cool. Do you watch any animation channels?
Yeah, I do sometimes.
Like who?
Like Domix.
Yeah, I love
and a lot of that.
Do you watch Jaden
Yeah,
Animations?
I do.
I watch Jaden Animations and what's the other guy? The Odd Ones Out. Do you watch him?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, Domix as well. I like that guy. I really enjoy animation on YouTube. You want to do that?
Yeah, I think I do.
I mean, if she ever decides she wants to do that, I would be absolutely happy to help you. I could even help you with animation a little bit because I kind of know how to do it. Like, I've done it before. I'm not amazing at all. But I know the basics of how to do it, so I can sort of help you with that as well. What was your first impression of my husband, who was my boyfriend when we met?
I actually don't remember because I was like 6 or 7.
Yeah, for those of you who don't know, my husband, we started dating when I was 14. So when I was 14, you were 6.
Yeah. So I think I met him when I was 7 and...
No, you were 6.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you were 6, I remember that.
Yeah, and we went on a walk, 3 of us, and I remember, I think that was the first time we met. And we just played, he was very funny, and yeah, I think I liked him.
I have videos of that, have you seen them?
Yeah, I have the photos of it.
I have videos from that. So to give you a little bit of context, my husband and I met on a summer trip to Germany. Like, his school organized a fun trip and I sort of tagged along. So we met in Germany and we started dating in Germany. And then once we came back to Russia, my parents were renovating the flat. Do you remember that? Mm-hmm. Yeah, they were renovating the entire flat, so we could not be in the flat because there were builders all the time. Like, it was messy, it was noisy, there were like paint fumes and stuff, so we were not meant to be in the flat. So me, a 14-year-old who's just started dating this new boy, wanted to go out on dates with him. And when I did, they gave me this little thing. My parents were like, hey, you're going out, take this person with you. And you were like a 6-year-old, so we couldn't like have a normal date at all. We couldn't like be together, hang out together. You know, we literally just started dating. We had to take care of a 6-year-old. That was fun. That was also when the tooth thing happened.
No,
I don't know if you... No. I'm telling you for sure. The tooth thing happened because me and you were walking to the underground station to meet my husband.
Oh, yeah.
We were walking to the underground station to meet him and to go hang out. Yeah. And as we were walking, you tripped and fell and started bleeding from the mouth. So that's great. So this question is for me. What was your reaction to getting a little sister? And that is a long story that I'm going to try and condense. But I found out that I was having a little sister because I was sick. Basically, I was supposed to go to school that day, but I got sick. I woke up with a fever and my mum was like, no, you're not going to school. But they had an ultrasound for that day to see you. and they weren't planning on telling me yet because it was a little bit early in the pregnancy and they didn't want to like get my hopes up in case something happened. And so they weren't planning on telling me. And so my dad called me downstairs and was like, hey, I know you're sad about missing school, because that was like, if there was an event or something at school and I was really sad that I couldn't make it. And he was like, I know you're sad about missing school, but we're gonna go to the cinema. And I'm like, okay, what are we gonna see? He's like, we're gonna see What's in Mummy's Tummy. And I'm like, that's not a film. Like, that's not, why would we want to see that? And he's like, no, it's gonna be fun, trust me, we're gonna see What's in Mummy's Tummy. And I'm like, intestines? Like what? What are we gonna be looking at? Like, why is that interesting? I don't want to see like her stomach and like intestines, and that's disgusting. Why would I want to see that? And then my mom came in and she's like, can you stop confusing the child and like just tell her? And then I was like, yeah, you're gonna have like a little brother or sister and they're in Mummy's tummy. And I'm like, oh, okay. So that was fun. But I remember the moment that we found out that mom was in labor, because we stayed home, we didn't go to the hospital, and our grandma came and she was staying with us, and me and my older sister, our older sister, whatever, it's confusing to talk to people when you're here as well. Our older sister and I, we were in our room because we were sharing a room at the time, and we heard our grandma coming up the stairs. And we knew that she was coming up the stairs to tell us that our sister is either being born or has been born. And she came in and she was like, your sister is being born! And we started jumping up on the beds. I remember that, that was really fun. We started jumping up on the bed. And then when we came to meet you, you were asleep! You had been crying the entire night, straight from being born, straight through the night, you were crying, and then the moment we came to meet you the next morning, you were asleep and you slept through the entire time we were there. And then as soon as we left, apparently you woke up. So thanks for that.
You're welcome.
Okay, and the last question today is, what is your favorite thing to do together? I have a favorite thing. Do you have a favorite thing?
I don't have a favorite. Just tell me.
You don't. Just tell them the truth. You just don't like being with me. No. You just don't enjoy my company at all. My favorite thing to do together with you is probably play The Sims, honestly. I love playing The Sims with you, it's really fun. I am a very big Sims nerd. I was playing The Sims since like 2005, I think?
When the Sims 2 came out.
Yeah, I think, what was it, earlier than that, maybe like 2004? I don't know, whenever The Sims 2 came out.
I wasn't even born.
Yeah, you weren't even a thing, like you were non-existent. You were particles somewhere in the universe waiting to be put together. Anyway, I was playing since like 2004, I think, and I love The Sims. I played The Sims 2 non-stop. I played The Sims 3 non-stop. The Sims 4 kind of I don't know, I'm not really into it. I don't want to like start a whole controversy here, but like I don't really, not my thing. I still play The Sims 2, like honestly. I still have it on my laptop and I actually still play The Sims 2. Anyway, my favorite thing to do with you is to play The Sims, probably. Because it's super fun.
I think it is a favorite thing.
I really enjoy that. Well anyway, thank you for coming onto my channel.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, thank you for having her. And thank you guys for asking these amazing questions. Sorry if we didn't get to yours, we did get quite a few questions, so we really had to filter them out. But I enjoyed answering them. Did you?
Yeah, I did.
So if you guys want to see more of my sister, we did a mail opening video. I'll leave that in the description for you to check out. And we're also going to be doing another video that is going to come out soon-ish. So keep your eyes out for that, and I think that'll be really fun. We haven't filmed it yet, but we're gonna now, so looking forward to it. I post videos on Wednesdays and Sundays, and sometimes I post bonus videos, so keep your eyes out for that as well, and I will see you next time. Bye!
Bye.